So, Jason, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jason Viscarra. I am the general manager and dealer principal of Mercedes-Benz of Walnut Creek.
Nice. So, how did you get into this role in the first place? What's your background? Did you do anything else in the car industry before you started here?
So I was a musician before I was in the automotive industry, and my sister needed help buying a car, and the salesperson was a musician, so we had a lot to talk about. And he offered me a part-time job just while I wasn't doing music, where I could be a porter on the lot, and it turned into an entire career.
No way. I never would have expected you were a musician. I probably would have guessed every career except that's amazing.
I have a cool haircut and a beard. That didn't do it. That didn't do the trick.
Did you ever release music or
Yeah.
wow. So, do you still do music or are you only in the car industry now?
I am only in the car industry and a dad and have a family and a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, wow. You're
But
packed.
I'd love to do music when
Amazing,
time
amazing.
permits.
That's nice. Cool. So, now that you are in the car industry, what's the first car you've ever drove and what did it mean to you?
Well, the first car I ever drove was a 1989 Toyota Camry that didn't start most of the time, and it was red with red interior. So it meant, man, I better work really hard so I can get a car I really like.
Hmm.
And I think I bought a Ford Thunderbird Super Coupe, and I wanted that car so bad I was willing to work for it.
Is there a reason you wanted it so bad?
I don't remember. I mean, it was a cool car. It had a body kit, and it was a cruiser. It was a supercharged V6. I don't remember what attracted me to that car, but I wanted it very badly. I think I got like a part-time job just to be able to get enough for a down payment and borrow money to buy it.
Wow, well, I'm glad you got it. So, let's say you had to restart your life and your career from zero. So, let's go back to the time that you got your first car, okay? You have no title, no connections, everything is new again. You're still a musician, okay? But this time you have the knowledge that you've gained. So, what would you do differently?
I know a lot of people who would do something differently. I probably wouldn't do anything differently. There was a point in my life that I loved music and it was like a priority. But when I started working at the car dealerships, working with the team and being around luxury cars and all the stuff that came along with it, I loved. So I got the choice to decide, hey, do I want to go on tour for further music or do I want to work at the dealership? And I actually loved the dealership. So I wouldn't change anything. I mean, I probably would have put heightened awareness on how important mentors were and choosing the right ones and taking their advice because they've been through some of these things before. But yeah, I don't think I would change anything.
That's amazing. I think you're the first person that's told that before. A lot of people have, regrets. Do you not have any regrets?
I think my only regret would be just you get farther with friends than enemies, and in a really competitive sales business like the automotive industry, I definitely thought I had to beat someone to win. But now I'm of the understanding that someone doesn't have to lose so you can win. You know, I could win and someone else could learn something, or I can lose and learn why I lost and get a win. But yeah, I think working together with everyone as a team, being a helpful person, and making friends wherever I go is something that I probably would have focused on a little more earlier in my career.
Yeah, I think that's great. You definitely learned as you went forward and you made mistakes for sure, right? And you learned from them and that helped you grow. What's a mistake in your career that taught you the most? Something that you wish more people knew early on?
Gosh, mistakes that I made. I think definitely not valuing the team around me. I mean, I was like a general manager when I was in my 20s and had a lot of employees. And I really thought, hey, I'm the boss and they work for me. But now I've more learned that I'm really the support to everybody. In order for me to be successful, everyone around me has to be successful. So I do my best to support these people, and it's an honor to be able to be in charge of all these people's fate, but it's also a responsibility. And I want to do a really good job to help make them successful.
You're definitely in a leadership position where, what you do also is very important and crucial to how the business works, right?
100%. We make some decisions, but I always ask my team because, to be quite frank, after being at one dealership for like 10 plus years, there's so many people around here who are so smart. I don't really make a lot of decisions without checking with the experts first, who are the different department heads and people that work in the dealership.
Mm-hmm. Great, yeah. Let's go back a few questions. I wanted to follow up on the mentors. You said that mentors were very important in your life and they've, helped you get to where you are today, like personally and also career-wise. So, what kind of mentors did you have? Were they in the car industry or were they, for music or was it not career centric? What do you think?
Kind of everywhere. I mean, your mentors could be, at least for me, it could be family, it could be friends, it could be people in music, it could be people in the automotive industry. But ultimately, they all have different piece of advice, and we or I or you have to make up our own decisions on which people we're going to follow. But I tried to not follow people who I didn't want to be in their shoes.
Mhm.
So when someone had something that I wanted, and it didn't always have to be like money or a G Wagon or a Maybach, it could be, hey, they were happy, or hey, they had a great family. That motivated me to listen to those people.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. You kind of had them as your role models, right? And you were like, I want to be like this person, so this is what I'm going to do. I think that's really important for, students also right now because it's kind of like it's hard to understand who to follow and who not to because we have so many different influences in our life and so many different people that, tell us what to do, what's wrong, what's right, and it's so hard sometimes to differentiate. So,
Social media.
social media. Oh yeah, that's huge for sure. What are your thoughts on social media?
Um, that is an animal. I think that there's a lot of mentors that are on social media sometimes, and they might not be good ones. So I think there's so much learning you can do from social media, and we have so much research at our fingertips. But sometimes I don't know if that's a good thing, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, we could probably talk forever about social media, but you probably know more than I do about social
Oh
media.
yeah, no, social media is crazy, especially with like students and the way it's impacted our lives so much, especially because now AI is getting huge, right? So it's like we can't sometimes tell the difference between AI generated content and the ones that humans are creating. What does success mean to you now, and how has that definition changed over time?
Success to me is quality of life, opportunity, and then obviously earning an income that supports my family. And I think that early in my career, I thought that I wanted all three of those things. I wanted to make a lot of money and I wanted to have every opportunity in the world, and I wanted quality of life. But I realized that I had to work really, really hard to make a good wage. I had to work really hard to get opportunity, but I really neglected kind of my quality of life stuff. And now I feel like I have a balance of all three. You know,
Hmm. Nice. Is there one that's more important to you, or would you say they're all like equally important to you?
I think they're always changing. I definitely made some sacrifices early in my career, like working the 7 days a week and doing things like that. But later in my career, with kids, with different family stuff that happens, I've pulled back on some of it and found a little bit of a better balance. So I think the priority is changing depending on the person, but most importantly, that I know what my priorities are,
Hmm.
so that I'm clear with my employer or my employees even in making sure that they know, hey, this is what's important to me. And sometimes selling a car is going to be the most important thing, but sometimes seeing my kids soccer game is going to be the most important thing. But communicating that with my team and setting realistic expectations on those, and also understanding what their priorities are, so that as a good support staff person, even if I'm in charge, I could deliver that to them.
I love that. I love that. I think that's very important, especially because prioritization, it's like, it's something so simple yet so crucial when, understanding what will take your time, what
Mm-hmm.
to spend your time on. Is time management something that you've like struggled with, or do you think that that just comes with like you just get good at time management when you do this job?
I think like in sales businesses, there's definitely some correlation, especially in retail, that the more you work, the more you can earn, or the more you can sell, or whatever your goal is. But what happens is, and I see this with a lot of people at the beginning of their career, they really put it all in, and it's when you first start, you have to really do everything that you can. But what do you do when you built your career around working 6 or 7 days a week, and at that point you want to have a family or you want some quality of life, and your earnings are here, but that's based on 6 or 7 days a week. It's hard to go backwards. So there's a couple mentors that I have even at the dealership who at one point were saying, I want to work 5 days a week, and it was looked upon negatively. And now I've realized that somebody knowing what's important to them is so important. So time management is a skill. And if you can work 5 days a week, or if you're a mom and you got to pick up your kids from school, or you have a family member who needs extra care, you need to know I can work 4 days, 5 days, 7 days, and communicate and set realistic expectations. But time management is a super important skill if you're going to have quality of life.
Thanks for sharing that with us. I think that's something that so many people can benefit from, like hearing. What's the toughest decision you've ever had to make in your career, and how did you work through it?
The toughest decision I ever had to make was um, turning down a promotion. Uh, I got offered something that I thought was something I've always wanted, and it was really something I wanted earlier in my career, but it would require, you know, travel and different things. And knowing who I was, that hey, opportunity at that point wasn't what's most important. Quality of life is. So I chose quality of life, which meant no additional travel, but also meant no promotion. That was like the toughest decision ever, because it wasn't any easier to make the decision, because I really really wanted it, but it was mostly my ego that wanted it, and I thought I could do a good job. But I knew I was making a decision between I would have to spend less time with my family, and at that time, I had a young kid, and I wanted to be with my kid.
Yeah. Is that kind of what, like, is it your family essentially? Like, when you say quality of life, what do you mean by that exactly? Because can't you have quality of life with whatever job or like with the promotion?
Everyone's is a little bit different, like what they want. I kind of grew up with my family home every night, I mean, and I wanted that same environment for my kid. So me being able to come home every night after work, I looked at it as like, wow, that was like a gift that I got that I want to be able to give my kid. So my decision was purely based on being there for the bedtime story, reading the same book that I read 500 times, and putting my kid to sleep every night. That I should probably say my wife too, but obviously it was a family decision.
I love that. I think that's very nice that, you were able to make the decision that was right at the end of the day, the one that you valued more, and you didn't just go into something because of, haste or because of your ego. So that's good. I think that's something that everyone will have to do eventually in their life, have to make some decision that's quite literally going to change their life. So,
Huge decisions. Yeah.
I think approaching it is, the most important, like how you approach it. Okay, so what's one thing that makes Mercedes timeless? The part that no brand could ever copy.
Well, Mercedes has a lot of amazing stuff, but one thing that no other brand has, I won't mention other brands, but we have some iconic heritage, mostly displayed with our Maybach. Um, I think that the luxury that we provide there is 100% timeless. And then our iconic G Wagon is one on the wall right here, but nobody makes something like a G Wagon or a Maybach.
Amazing. Do you know a little bit about the origin, like how it started? Who created the G Wagon?
Oh man. So G Wagon's been around since 1976, so it has a lot of heritage there. I don't know who the creator was or that much stuff, but I know that there's nothing like it. It's got three locking differentials. It's There's hundreds of custom colors and different ways that you can configure it, and it's just an awesome machine.
Yeah, honestly, it's so cool. And I definitely think those are things that differentiate Mercedes. It's what makes it special, it's what makes it one of the top car dealerships, right? One of the top car brands. So, to all the car fans out there, what's one thing you think they need to know about Mercedes?
One thing, um, so in this country, we see like they sell like 300,000 Mercedes a year. So we see a lot of Mercedes on the road. One differentiator is that every single Mercedes Benz is custom. So there's actually not, there is two alike if two people build it the same way, but every single one of them is built. So whether a customer builds it or whether the dealer is building it for stock inventory, they are all 100% custom. And every manufacturer can't say that. So when you're driving a Benz, you're driving something truly unique.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that Mercedes makes every single car custom, like every single one. So
Hmm.
there's none that are not custom.
Nope, every single one of them was made custom.
Wow, that's amazing. Honestly, I think that's definitely something unique about Mercedes, but it's also something that shows Mercedes values and how much, like, how important customers are, how much they're valued and how much Mercedes genuinely wants to help the customers. So definitely, I think that's amazing. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today. This was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to share? Anything?
No, I think it's so great that you're out there and doing this, and kudos to you. And I wish you the best of luck. And
Thank
if
you.
you're successful, I want you to come back and buy a Mercedes.
100%, I will be. And do you guys do like colored cars? Like, can I get a pink Mercedes? Is that
You can
possible?
get any color you want.
I will definitely be back. Thank
Deal.
you.